بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. Inshallah, we will go over the meaning of the passage from Surah Al-Baqarah that begins with ayah number 170 until ayah number 176, inshallah. In ayah number 170, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قَالُوا بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ مَا أَلْفَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. And when it is said to them here are the mushrikeen, the polytheists, the idol worshippers. And when it is said to them, follow that which Allah has sent down, follow the truth that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has brought, follow the message of Tawheed, follow the teachings of the Quran, don't worship idols, worship only Allah, believe in the hereafter, believe in the Prophet, and so on. When it is said to them, follow that which Allah has sent down, قالوا, they say, بل نتبع ما ألفينا عليه آباءنا. No, we are going to follow what we have found our forefathers to be upon. We are going to follow the ways of our forefathers, the ways of our ancestors. أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. Even if their forefathers and their ancestors did not understand and were not guided. Unfortunately, many Muslims today continue to do the same mistake. When they are told that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this is the deen of Islam. The deen of Islam is against your cultural practices. People say no. This is what our forefathers have been doing for centuries. This is the culture of our land. This is the culture of our tribe. This is the culture of our people. We cannot give that up. أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. Even if your forefathers did not understand and were not guided. Our ancestors sometimes lived in ignorance. They lived in conditions where there was lack of education, lack of religious education, lack of secular education. They were very wise people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them. But they lacked guidance, divine guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, they may be forgiven for that. But when we know better, when we know what Allah says, when we know what the Quran says, then why is it that we continue in their footsteps? We have to choose Allah and His Messenger over what is comfortable for me, what is normal for me, what is cultural for me. So this was a mistake that was made by Quraysh, and Allah Azza wa Jal repeatedly in the Quran condemns them for that. And in it is a lesson for us as well. وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنْعِقُ بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً صُمٌّ بُكْمٌ عُمْيٌ فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Here Allah Azza wa Jal is striking an analogy for such people. He says that the analogy of those who disbelieve is like الذي ينعق بما لا يسمع إلا دعاء ونداء. like someone who yan'iq. Yan'iq is to shout at the sheep, the lamb. When the shepherd shouts, makes noises, certain noises to control the sheep. That sound, that shouting sound, is called na'iq. Yan'iqu. Bima la yasma'. The sheep that he's shouting at, they cannot really understand what he is saying. All they hear is du'a'an wa nida'a. They just hear someone making noise and shouting. But they don't understand. They hear the noise, they hear the sound, but they don't understand what is being said. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is preaching this beautiful message of the Quran to these people, they don't hear anything except sound and noise. صُمٌّ بُكْمٌ عُمْيٌ فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Deaf, dumb, and blind. These people are deaf to the truth. They are mute. They do not speak the truth and do not see the truth. Deaf, dumb, and blind. فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. So they do not understand. Unfortunately, when we come to khutab and wa'az after wa'az, maw'iza after maw'iza, dars after dars, and we are told again and again, and we ignore the message, the true message, then we are also behaving like this. Because we hear the message, but it doesn't process. We don't absorb it. We do not accept it. We do not internalize it. We do not act upon it. And when we are doing that, we are behaving like this. We are behaving as if we are deaf. And Allah Azza wa Jal is admonishing us about that. Then He says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. O you who have faith, O you who believe, eat from the good things that we have provided for you, and show thanks to Allah if it is Him that you worship. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to eat from the good things, i.e. eat from those things that are halal, that are lawful. And oftentimes in the Arab world, and at the Arab shops in the Western world, you find the ayah on the door, كُلُوا مِن طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. This part of the ayah, كُلُوا مِن طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. Eat from the whole things that we have provided for you. Alhamdulillah, it's beautiful. But it's very sad when you go inside and you find haram being sold. You find the halal menu, but you also find some haram things. And the other thing is that I wish they would complete the ayah. وَاشْكُرُوا لِلَّهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. Don't just eat and indulge in eating and forget who gave you this. وَاشْكُرُوا لِلَّهِ. Be thankful to Allah. If it is Him that you worship, is it your desire to eat that you worship? Is it your money that Allah gave you, your money that you worship? Or is it Allah, the provider, that you worship? If it is Him that you worship, then acknowledge that this is from Him and thank Him. And part of thanking Him, part of showing gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal, is not to waste food. Not to waste food. Also part of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to eat only that which is halal and drink only that which is halal. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us that what we eat has an effect on whether or not our dua is answered by Allah. So He said in one hadith that is related by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, He said, أيها الناس, O people, إن الله طيب لا يقبل إلا طيبا. That Allah is طيب, is pure, and He only accepts what is pure. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ أَمَرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ بِمَا أَمَرَ بِهِ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And Allah Azza wa Jal has commanded the believers with the same command that He gave to His messengers. فقال, when He said to the messengers, يَا أَيُّهَا الرُّسُلُ كُلُوا مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَاعْمَلُوا صَالِحًا. And He said to the believers, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُلُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. When Allah Azza wa Jal gave the command to the messengers in Surah Al-Mu'minun, He said, كُلُوا مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَاعْمَلُوا صَالِحًا. Eat from that which is pure, that which is halal, and work righteousness. And when He commanded the believers in this surah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the reference of this ayah. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُلُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. O you who believe, i.e. general believers, eat from that which is pure that we have provided for you. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked about a man who is on a long journey. His journey has become prolonged, become longer than he had expected. And on that journey, his hair is disheveled, and it's full of dust and dirt. And in that state, he extends his hands to the sky, desperately asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb, وَمَطْعَمُهُ حَرَامٌ وَمَشْرَبُهُ حَرَامٌ وَمَلْبَسُهُ حَرَامٌ وَغُذِّيَ بِالْحَرَامِ فَأَنَّى يُسْتَجَابُ لِذَلِكَ. He said, he does this all the while his food comes from a haram source, and his drink comes from a haram source, and his clothes come from a haram source, and he is fed with that which is haram. Then how can such a person's dua be responded to? He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةَ وَالدَّمَ وَلَحْمَ الْخِنْزِيرِ وَمَا أُهِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. We have, or not we have, He has only made haram upon you the following things. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that most of the things that are on this earth are halal for us. Most food items on this earth are halal for us. All vegetables, all fruit are halal for us as long as we acquire them through halal means. All animals are not halal for us. Certain animals are halal and certain animals are haram. All the seafood, pretty much, with differences among the fuqaha, is halal for you. But when it comes to land animals, إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ, the only things that Allah has made haram for you are a few. And what are they? In this ayah, Allah mentions a few of them. In other places, other things are mentioned. And in the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some other things are mentioned. Okay, so this is not an exhaustive list. Okay, the point here is not to be exhaustive in mentioning every haram food, but innama here is, even though adat al-hasr is used to simply give the indication that the only things that Allah has made haram are few things. There are few things. So among them is al-mayta. Al-mayta. Al-mayta is that which is the flesh or the body of an animal that dies without being slaughtered properly. An animal that dies without being slaughtered properly is called mayta, carrion. So any animal that dies without being slaughtered properly is haram, is mayta. So for example, an animal falls, a goat falls from a high place, falls down and dies, we cannot eat it because it died without being slaughtered. But if it falls and it's still alive and I go and I slaughter it and it dies from the slaughter, now I can eat from it. If a deer comes in front of the car and it's hit by a car and it dies, I cannot eat from it. But if it is still alive when I go out and I slaughter it, now I can eat from it. Okay? If an animal is shocked or stunned, and from that stun gun, the animal doesn't just become unconscious, it dies, then I cannot eat from it because I didn't slaughter it properly. إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةَ. Allah Azza wa Jal has made forbidden upon you al-mayta, unslaughtered dead animals. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made an exception, and Allah Azza wa Jal has made an exception. One of the exceptions that Allah Azza wa Jal has made is أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ وَطَعَامُهُ مَتَاعًا لَكُمْ وَلِلسَّيَّارَةِ. صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam further elaborated by saying about the bahr, هُوَ الطَّهُورُ مَاؤُهُ الْحِلُّ مَيْتَتُهُ. الْحِلُّ مَيْتَتُ أي مَيْتَةُ الْبَحْرِ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ. يعني the dead, unslaughtered dead animals of the sea, the ocean, are halal for you. So therefore, when we fish, we don't slaughter the fish. It dies before we can slaughter it. We can eat it. Okay, for example. So, that exception of seafood, of aquatic life, everything else, land animals and birds and so on, if they die without being slaughtered properly, they are haram for us. So that's the first category that's haram. The second, وَالدَّمْ. Dam is blood. But what is intended here is not just any blood. It is the blood that is masfuh, daman masfuhan, which is the flowing blood. When you slaughter an animal, the blood that flows out, that blood is haram for us to consume. It's najasa. It's haram for us to consume. In the Jahili days, they used to consume that. And perhaps even today, some people consume that. It is haram for us to consume that. As for the blood that is on the meat that you buy from the grocery store, there's blood on the meat. That blood is halal to eat. That's not flowing blood. Okay? And of course also liver. Liver is also a type of blood, and it is halal for us to eat. The third category is وَلَحْمَ الْخِنْزِيرِ, the flesh of the swine. So any part of the swine, regardless of whether it is slaughtered properly or not, it is haram for us to consume. وَمَا أُهِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ, and anything that is slaughtered in other than Allah's name. Because in the old days, in the Jahili days, Jahili Arabs used to slaughter animals in the names of their deities and their idols. In the name of Lat, in the name of Uzza, in the name of Manat, and so on. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is being taught here by Allah that do not eat from any animal, whether it's a chicken or a goat or a cow or a camel, that is slaughtered in the name of other than Allah. Do not eat from it. And therefore also for us, if any meat is given to us that is slaughtered in other than the name of Allah, we cannot eat from it. وَمَا أُهِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. If somebody slaughters an animal in the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, cannot eat from it. It's haram for us to eat from it. فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. However, if someone is in a state of necessity, اضطر, ضرورة, in a state of ضرورة, in a state of necessity, غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. They may eat from these things. They may consume these things as long as two conditions are met. In addition to the fact that they are in a state of necessity, two conditions are met. غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. Without being baghi and without being adi. Now what's the meaning of baghi? The Sahaba like Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said what is meant by غَيْرَ بَاغٍ is without having desire for it, without enjoying it. So for example, somebody is in a state of necessity, stranded in the desert, doesn't have anything to eat except for meat that is unslaughtered dead. He's going to die if he doesn't eat this, or become extremely ill if he doesn't eat it. Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. There is no sin upon the person if he is in a state of darura. He may eat from it. But غَيْرَ بَاغٍ, without eating it with desire, without eating it with shahwa. In other words, don't cook it using the best spices and and make it a very delicious meal. No. غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ, and without being adi. And adi here means without eating to your full. Don't eat to your full. Eat just as much as you necessarily have to eat to save your life, to save your limb. Darura, brothers and sisters, is different from haja, which is different from tahsini matter. Darura is when I am in a situation where my life is in danger, or my limb is in danger. I'm going to lose a limb, I'm going to lose an arm, I'm going to lose a leg, I'm going to lose my hearing, I'm going to lose a faculty of taste or smell or something like that. I'm going to lose my mind. That's darura. Haja is when I am in a state of difficulty, but I'm not going to die. Things are going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for me to live, but I'm not going to die. And a tahsini matter is that which is required for a luxurious life. So there's necessities, there's needs, and there are luxuries. Necessities, needs and luxuries. Darurat, hajat, and tahsiniyat or kamaliyat, as the ulama have distinguished them. This is talking about darura. When we are in a state of darura, then the haram becomes halal. Haram becomes halal. And for this, the ulama have coined an axiom, a qaida fiqhiyya, الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. That necessities make what is unlawful, lawful. But with this, there's another axiom also, that's also very important. الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. Meaning that necessities can only be used to within their right scope. If I am in a state of necessity, I am allowed certain things only to the extent that is required. As the ayah is saying, غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. ضَرُورَةٌ تُبِيحُ الْمَحْظُورِ. In the state of darura, فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. There's no sin upon you. It's halal for you. But غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. Only to the extent necessary. Don't go beyond that. Don't eat to your full. Don't satiate yourself. Okay, so if, for example, there's a fatwa that says certain things that are regularly haram in your particular situation, ya akhi, because of your situation, because of your family situation, because of your health situation, it is halal for you. الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. You may only use that halal thing to the extent that is necessary. Don't indulge in it beyond what is necessary. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the oft-forgiving, the most merciful. Then He says, إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الكتاب ويشترون به ثمنا قليلا أولئك ما يأكلون في بطونهم إلا النار ولا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. That indeed those who hide, those who conceal what Allah has sent down as part of the book and purchase with it a meager price of this world, those people are only eating and putting in their bellies the fire of hell. Allah will not speak to them on the Day of Judgment. He will not cleanse them, and for them will be a painful punishment. Here Allah Azza wa Jal is primarily talking about the Yahud, the Jews of the time of the Prophet ﷺ, because they hid, they concealed what Allah had revealed to them in their book. ما أنزل الله من الكتاب أي من التوراة. The book that Allah had revealed to them, the Torah, they concealed a part of it that talked about the coming of a prophet and his description, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they felt that these Arabs who used to respect them yesterday and who used to come and give them gifts and honor them because they are people of the book, so they were benefiting from their honorable status as people of the book in the land of the Arabs. They were afraid that if now they acknowledge that a prophet has come from them, they will lose their honorable status in society. So they refused to believe in him, and they hid the portions of their own book that would confirm that he was the prophet of Allah. So Allah is saying that those who hide and conceal what Allah has revealed in the book, and with that, what are they earning? They're earning some wealth. These people can continue to give them these gifts, these worldly gifts, this material wealth. They're purchasing by giving up the truth. They want some small, paltry, worldly benefits. أُولَٰئِكَ مَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ إِلَّا النَّارِ. That which is what they're putting in their mouths is only the fire of hell. On the Day of Judgment, these people are going to eat from the fire of hell because of the haram that they ate in this world. وَلَا يُكَلِّمُهُمُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And Allah will not speak to them on the Day of Judgment. This is not meant literally, by the way. This is not meant literally. Allah will speak to them. He will tell them, اخسأوا فيها. Allah will tell them, dwell in the fire of hell. Allah will speak to them harshly. He will not speak to them in a way that is endearing, in a way that is kind and gentle and comfortable and friendly. That type of speech, Allah will not speak to them. Allah will only speak like that with the believers. With these kind of people, وَلَا يُكَلِّمُهُمُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. This is an expression, لَا يُكَلِّمُ. This is an expression in the Arabic language that indicates anger. When somebody is angry at somebody, he says, I am not going to speak to you. Doesn't mean God's going to speak to them at all. But He's only going to speak to them in an angry, harsh, upset way. وَلَا يُكَلِّمُهُمُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَلَا يُزَكِّيهِمْ. And He will not cleanse them. He will not cleanse them from their sins so that they can enter Jannah. These people, Allah will not cleanse them. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. And they will have a painful punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is primarily for the Jews of the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But by extension, it applies to anyone who behaves like that. So we have a book too. We have the Quran. And if we conceal any part of the Quran for these kinds of reasons, the same punishment may come to us. We cannot hide the truth. Somebody asks us, is it true your deen says this? We cannot say, no, it doesn't. Cannot say, no, it doesn't. How can we hide things from people just so that they like us? So that we can live comfortably? No, that's kitmanul ilm. And that's haram. Hiding the truth is haram. when Ja'far radiallahu ta'ala anhu was in Abyssinia, in Habasha, and the Najashi, he was asking him about Islam. And Ja'far told him some of the things that the Prophet ﷺ was teaching. Najashi was happy to hear that, and he told the Abu Sufyan who was there that these people, what they're saying is good. This is exactly what prophets teach. And then Abu Sufyan said to his people, tomorrow I'm going to tell Najashi something that's going to get these people in trouble. So next day, Abu Sufyan said to Najashi, you should ask them what they say about Jesus. Because Najashi was Christian. Ask them what they say about Jesus. So he said, okay. So he called Ja'far and the Muslims and he said, what does your prophet tell you about Jesus? Now you know that Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God. And the Quran categorically denies that. So Ja'far was in a predicament. If he tells him the truth about what the Quran says about Isa alayhi salam, maybe the Najashi will get upset. He might kill all of them. But he decides to speak the truth. He says, I'm going to tell him what the Quran says. And he tells him, this is what our Nabi has taught us. And he recites a portion of the Quran that talks about Isa alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affects the heart of the Najashi, and he actually is very kind to the Muslims. I don't want to go into the whole story, but the point is, later on he accepted Islam, as we know. But he concealed his Islam from the people. When he died, the Prophet ﷺ prayed Salatul Janazah from a distance, Salatul Ghaib on him. The point is that Ja'far radiallahu ta'ala anhu did not hide the truth. He could have said whatever he wanted to protect himself and the Muslims at that time. But he spoke the truth. He did not hide it. We cannot hide the truth from the people. Mention the truth and explain it to the best of your ability, and leave the results in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ اشْتَرَوُا الضَّلَالَةَ بِالْهُدَى وَالْعَذَابَ بِالْمَغْفِرَةِ فَمَا أَصْبَرَهُمْ عَلَى النَّارِ. Those are the people who have purchased misguidance for guidance and punishment for forgiveness. فَمَا أَصْبَرَهُمْ عَلَى النَّارِ. How patient are they with the fire of hell? This is a sarcastic statement. In other words, these people, they are insisting on doing these things, even though they are being told that the outcome is going to be the fire of hell. As if they can patiently endure the fire. As if they are saying, yeah, it's okay, we can take it. We can endure the fire. How much are they going to endure of the fire of hell? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ نَزَّلَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِي الْكِتَابِ لَفِي شِقَاقٍ بَعِيدٍ. ذَلِكَ, i.e. this punishment that they are going to receive from Allah, the fact that Allah will not speak to them, He will not cleanse them, the painful punishment, fire of hell, this punishment from Allah, why? بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ نَزَّلَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ. Because Allah Azza wa Jal has sent down His scriptures. Now this Al-Kitab is not referring to any particular book here. This is all the Kutub Samawiyya. Al-Huna lil-Jins. Because Nazzala is different from Anzala. Anyway, I don't want to go into details here. Nazzala al-Kitab bil-Haqq. Allah has sent down His scriptures bil-Haqq, in truth. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِي الْكِتَابِ لَفِي شِقَاقٍ بَعِيدٍ. And those people who dispute about the truth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down, لَفِي شِقَاقٍ بَعِيدٍ, they are divided among themselves. والله تعالى أعلم. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.